So it was a recess, and I went in. I was in the back, and then they brought me out to the inside the courthouse, and it was just like a moment. It just happened. There was nobody in the courtroom yet except him and his lawyers were sitting at the table, and the judge wasn't in yet. The jury wasn't in yet. And usually I came out first, but for some reason he was already out there, and our eyes locked, and we looked at each other, and he just mouthed the word rat. And then I put my middle finger up against my nose, and I just scratched my nose, and I like, oh, fuck you. Yeah. But he was like giving me death stares throughout the whole thing while I testified. But that's the only time he ever like said anything to me. Jumping up and down a lot. Like when I testified, he would jump up and down, and he would like get angry and start talking in his lawyer's ear, you know. I just laughed. I just smiled at him. I smirked at him and gave him the finger and scratched my nose with my middle finger. And then he really like got angry. Yeah, but
and he got off for that, right?
He got found not guilty, which the jury should have all been arrested. That was insane. That he got nobody. It was like the biggest shock of the century because everybody thought he was getting convicted. I mean, his lawyers were terrible. The testimony was terrible. I don't know how that jury found him not guilty. I think they just felt sorry for him because he was an old man. That's the only trial I testified that I testified at 6 trials. He's the only one that beat the case. Everybody else got convicted. It was crazy how he beat that case. That was like the shock of they were all in shock. It was shocking. I mean, you had his cousin who was actually in on the score. They found a body on 130th Avenue buried in the basement of a house.
Whose body?
Body that he buried with Jimmy Burke in the basement of a house on 130th Avenue in Ozone Park. That his cousin gave up the body, told him where the body was buried, and they dug it up. And his son pleaded guilty to it. His son, Jimmy Burke, killed the guy, and Jimmy Burke and Vinny's son Gerard buried the body in the basement of a house.